The United States and China are trading barbs over talks on maritime safety. The US says the Chinese didn't show up for this week's discussions. It says that's a sign of how China doesn't honor agreements. But Beijing has a different story.
中美两军尚未举行2020年中美海上军事安全磋商机制有关会议的责任完全在美方。美国军方有关的指责是完全站不住脚的，也是不负责任的。
Simon Marks is live in Washington, D.C. Simon, both sides presenting their own version of events. We've just heard China's. Can you clarify the view from Washington?
Well, Jill, the United States says it's very simple. There were supposed to be 3 days of meetings under something called the Military Maritime Consultative Agreement. It's been in place since 1998, twice a year. The militaries from the United States and China meet. This meeting was taking place in a virtual format, of course, because of COVID-19, and they discuss military, aviation and maritime safety, particularly, of course, in the Indo-Pacific area. And the Chinese, according to the United States, simply didn't show up for this meeting. American military officials say this is the first time they believe that has ever happened since 1998. They also point to that Chinese Foreign Ministry statement and point out that while the Chinese officials are saying that it's irresponsible to accuse China of having been a no-show at the agreement, Beijing has confirmed that the Chinese didn't participate in those talks, but has not given a reason for China's failure to participate in those talks this week. And certainly at a time of rising tensions and counter-accusations between the two countries over China's behaviour in the South China Sea and in other parts of the region, certainly the region's not going to be any safer, argues the United States, as a result of China's decision to stay away from these talks.
Simon, as the Biden administration prepares to take over, current President Donald Trump's top trade representative has offered some advice on how to handle China. What has he said?
Yeah, pretty rare interview that Robert Lighthizer has given to the Reuters news agency, saying that he believes that Joe Biden should hold China's feet to the fire, particularly when it comes to that Phase 1 trade agreement that was struck by President Xi Jinping and President Donald Trump. He says it's absolutely vital for the incoming Biden administration, where necessary, to use the dispute mechanisms contained in that Phase 1 agreement. Do not, he is advising Joe Biden, reduce, scrap, lower, or in any way alter the current tariff mechanism that he and, of course, President Trump have put into place regarding Chinese goods over the last couple of years. Now, Joe Biden himself has said he has no plans on day one of his administration to do very much in terms of tinkering with the current position that the United States is taking with regard to trade and tariffs and that Phase 1 trade deal, although he earlier indicated that he thought the Phase 1 trade deal was failing. Joe Biden says he's going to take his time to talk to partners throughout the region, gauge their feelings about the way in which the relationship between the United States and China should develop over the next 4 years. But the message from Bob Lighthizer, the current US trade representative, don't touch a thing and hold their feet to the fire, suggesting that the Trump administration really wants to keep Joe Biden wandering down the same path that Donald Trump has adopted, a much tougher path towards Beijing.
Yes, we'll have to see what he decides to do. Thanks very much for that, Simon Marks, speaking to us from Washington, D.C.